Now, if you try to share screen again, there should be an option that says share audio as well.
My name is Samaj Ware. I'm 15 years old. I'm a sophomore at University Academy. One of my hobbies is I like to paint, and my goal is when I grow up, I want to own my own bakery.
My name is Ty McNeil. I'm a freshman at Kaufman. I am 14 years old, and I like to play sports, and when I grow up, I want to enter politics.
My name is Devontae McNeil, and I'm 16 years old. I go to Kaufman, and I like to play sports. And when I grow up, I would like to be a musician.
Go Team Dynamite!
My name
Nobody's here. Just minimize it, Smaj.
My name is Samaj Ware. I'm 15 years old.
There you go.
I meet our team. We have Samaj Ware, Caillou McNeil, and Devontae McNeil, that's me. And these are our avatars that we got from 3DHQ yesterday. And yeah. And we also have some inspiration. Our program design inspired us to focus on our dream, get some experience before college, and also engage in something new. And we want to open our eyes to great opportunities and growing experience. And from pre-K all the way to high school, we were raised by the OB family, coming to daycare, school age, watching each other become their own person. We now get to help build and create a space to see us through high school. OB's program will naturally transition into the Ignition Lab. And the makerspace in pre-K. In pre-K, our makerspace focuses on tinkering with the workbench and things to take apart, coding, circuit introduction, and simple machines. In the Maker City in kindergarten through 8th grade, Maker City has many learning opportunities such as construction and design, a makerspace, a digital media lab, life science, culinary arts, fiber arts, and the Smart Lab. The Ignition Lab for 8th to 12th grade. The Ignition Lab will be focused on growth of skills and development in areas of interest ranging from robotics, coding, culinary arts, and construction to engineering, mechanics, and electrical works.
Our goals are to, well, we started by researching high school STEM spaces. Instead of just collecting facts, we looked at examples of classrooms and pictures so that we could get a grasp of what our area would look like. We took some ideas from Google Images and incorporated them into our design. And what we focused on was designing a space that we want to be in and that high schoolers would want to be in. So first we took out some walls to create an open space that I feel like would connect the rest, like the entire building together so much more. So we replaced those walls with glass walls that would still separate the noise and dangers of the automotive area of the building, while still allowing the other students to work on their projects. And so We are planning to we are using large tables to create enough space for large projects, such as robotics and things, so that we can all work simultaneously. And we're planning to put construction equipment in the outer building to eliminate noise and dust so that everybody can work at the same time. Our proposed programs for the Ignition Lab include coding, welding, refurbishing computers, metalwork design, circuitry, culinary arts, music production, automotives, robotics, web design, gardening, and screen printing and engineering. And we wanted to include an array of things so that anybody could do it and they could choose what they want to do.
Samaj, you might be on mute.
Okay, a few projects we will be able to do in the Ignition Lab. We'll be making and editing music videos and films. We have a lot of talented kids, so they can show their talents. We also have designing and painting apparel, coding and web designing. We are going to be designing and developing solar powered cars. Food truck. What will be cool about our food truck is that it will be mobile. We can stay on site or travel into the community. The truck will be donation only, so there will be no charge. Our print shop, we will be able to raise funds by printing, designing for local companies and nonprofits, as well as our own students. They can design and print and launch their own lines. We can interview and partner with local nonprofits to do projects together. Here are just a few we work with now. Artists helping the homeless, reconciliation service, Amethyst Place, City Union Mission, and PCs for the People. This excites us so much. We will get to invite other high schools to come into our space and create ideas together. We will have our own schools of greatness.
The top 5 things that we learned in creating this virtual environment for the Ignition Lab was like just the difficulties like importing, fixing the lighting, creating different textures to make it look good, scaling objects, positioning, and pretty much everything under the rainbow that we had to figure out how to do, since this was pretty much our first time doing these things. Next, we'll play a video of our walkthrough. Let me bring that up.
It's the last slide. There you
Here is the Operation Breakthrough Ignition Lab. I'm going to start our tour in the place that pays homage to the muffler shop that this once was. Here's the automotive area. This will be a place where you can create cars or refurbish them. It will be complete with the welding area back here so that you can repair any parts that you need to. This is a coding and web design area. This will be where you are able to create websites or code a robot. You will also be able to do things like we're doing today. Separating the OB Ignition Lab from the outside will be glass garage doors. We could not find the assets, so that's why they are not in here today. This area is multi-purpose. It has circuit and refurbishing right here, where you can refurbish computers or any other electronic, and also a music production studio. You can fit anything that needs to be going on right here. And you also have a lounge where presentations can be given on this video screen, or you can hang out and talk to your friends after a long day of working. This is the construction and engineering building. It will have a mix of 3D printing and heavy machinery that are not safe to have in the OB Ignition Lab. It's a great solution for keeping the loud things away from the more quiet lounge areas and coding areas. Finally, in the middle, we will have the robotics area. Robotics is something that is a part of what Travis Kelsey has been doing with Operation Breakthrough, and we hope to continue that into the new Ignition Lab. I'd like to touch on some things that I missed in the video, which include, let me see, which include our hanging garden. We wanted to include a rooftop garden, but the cost for restructuring the roof would have been too much. So our solution was to create a hanging garden instead, where you could still enjoy that aspect of things. And we also wanted to touch on the shelving that's throughout this building so that you can always store things. And that's it.
Thank you, Team Dynamite. I will open up now for the judges to ask questions. I would request the audience to keep patience. If we have time, we will add additional questions once the judges are done. So the floor is all yours, judges. You can go ahead and ask your questions.
Hi, this is Nikhil with Invent XYZ here. What you guys have done and the research and stuff is pretty awesome. I really like that like hexagon kind of aesthetic that you had going there. Can you talk to me a little bit about like why hexagons and like, is it like a beehive kind of thing? Is that like also storage? Like I'd love to learn a little bit more about that. And I love the hanging garden too.
Oh yeah, the hexagon is storage. It was just shelving units. Like there were sections of one shelving unit, and we thought that it would look really great just to make it seem more connected to nature, because it's a pretty industrial space. So as you said, it's like kind of like a beehive, you know, just to show the connection and everything that was going on in our building.
Really cool. So they're like, I guess, glued or something to the glass walls between the sections? Was that the idea?
Yeah.
Nice.
Can you talk to me a little bit about the value of the hangout space and why you felt that was important to include that in your design?
Well, something that I've noticed in most school environments is that basically all you're doing is learning or doing work. You don't really get that much time to hang out with your friends unless you're at lunch or recess. And because those things probably won't be at the Ignition Lab since it's like an after school thing, I wanted to include some place where you could just take a break or present a project to your friends.
And I want to kind of like expand on the lounge part. We kind of like want to focus on entrepreneurship. So like presentations or anything like we want to bring up with like our group or our class is that area will be very, appropriate for that type of situation, so we all can, explain and, expand or even learn a bit more about entrepreneurship.
18 Dynamite, what caught my eye is the glass walls. Tell me a little bit more about the glass walls. You said you studied some actual labs and classrooms that are already in existence. Did you see glass walls in any of the existing ones?
So what we saw in a lot of STEM buildings was that they were really big and really open. And we saw that the Ignition Lab was kind of small and sectioned off. So what we wanted to do was kind of keep the format that it had, because, we had loud things going on and we didn't want everybody to be distracted by that. But we also wanted to make it feel more open. And so the glass walls were our solution to that.
Can I just ask about the glass walls again? Are they like movable? So can they open and close, or do they just stay that way? The shelving stays on them?
That was our plan, but due to the time constraint, we couldn't quite show you that in the Unity. So our plan is to have that kind of like a sliding door where you can section off where you want it to be. And if you don't need any sections to be there, you can just kind of slide it out of the way.
I had a quick question too. First of all, I echo the like for the hexagonal wall separators. I could see it being a really nice acoustical absorption mechanism too between your auto bay and the other parts. My question was, I love the range of program offerings that you described. I think you had 14 of them or so. Did you all give any thought to how the small space of the Ignition Lab might be able to accommodate that range? Because it's wonderful to kind of appeal to the different learning interests of students. And how could the space get you there?
Yeah, that was one of our first things that we focused on. We looked at the different areas of STEM, and they were like entire schools, and we were like, well, we don't have a school campus to build it on. So what we did was we really utilized the buildings around the Ignition Lab. So they're all kind of interconnected together to, accommodate all the different wants and needs of high schoolers who may need to do something different.
So I have a little bit of feedback. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask the team if they could talk a little bit about the music production aspect of the design. It's part of that hangout space, I believe. That's where it would happen. But if you could just explain how the music production piece would work.
Yeah, so my brother Devontae, that was his idea, because he's, as you saw in the video, he said that he wanted to become a musician when he got older. So we thought of high schoolers and teenagers like him who may not want to do, the more STEM oriented things, like such as building cars or refurbishing computers, but who want to do more like music production and the arts. So we didn't have enough space to put a recording studio on the prefab, but we may be able to fit that in later on. But so our idea was kind of like to have the music production around a chill environment where you could, kind of vibe and chill.
Going off of that vibe and chill, I have some rapid fire feedback for you. I think that it would be really beneficial for you guys to do a little research on how Apple designed its offices and headquarters. It's specifically made for like serendipitous interactions to occur. And I think that that's what you guys are already kind of intuitively going for. So it'd be really cool for you to learn a little bit more about what they did and use that case study as an example of how you can implement it at the Operation Breakthrough Ignition Lab. And then going off of that, like the hanging garden idea, check out vertical farming and what's happening in that sector. because that could be kind of like a phase 2 or phase 3, you know, a few years down the line of something that you can give future operation breakthrough, you know, students the opportunity to grow into. So vertical farming, apple offices, and then going off of that vertical farming and the hanging garden, there's really cool things happening in places like Singapore and France, where you have green construction. So you're implementing kind of like you know, plants and trees and natural environments into the construction of new modern buildings. I think that you guys are onto some really cool ideas here, and maybe those 3 things could help you navigate a path forward to manifest those ideas. Great job presenting, guys.
Yeah, thanks for the feedback.
Absolutely.
I'll send you guys a cool link about vertical farming. There's one company called Plenty that does a lot of like algorithmic stuff. So they use like computer vision and take pictures of all the plants to decide like how well they're growing, if they need to add more light or more water and stuff like that. It's really cool.
Okay, thanks.
Super fresh, yeah.
Awesome. I think we will switch over to the next team. If judges, is that okay? Or do you guys have more questions as such? Okay. I'll see how many I can see. So there are only few which fit in one screen for this. So, the next team we have, you can make your notes. The next team we have is Tiger Tech. I'll see, make sure the presenter is getting ready and stuff like that. So we should have 1 to 2 minutes of gap in between.
Rohit, which school is Tiger Tech again?
It's Plattsburgh High School.
Thank you.
So for the first team, we write Dynamite as the team name, right?
Yes. So just as a side question, Preston, I have you as co-host for Tiger Tech. Are you the only presenter for the team?
No, I have 3 others with me right now.
But I mean, are you guys in the same space or do you?
Yes.
Okay, cool. We let the judges work through the point sheet, and whenever they are ready, you guys can jump on.
Okay.
And start your presentation.
And Preston, while they're doing that, I think your screen is rotated. Can you guys work on that? Maybe that rotated correctly. There you go.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Rohit, would it be helpful if the judges just in the chat said ready when we're ready? Because I may not fill out things till I've seen a few.
Okay, that's fine. If all the other judges are fine, then we can move on to team Tiger Tech, Plattsburgh High School. So, Preston, over to you. Go for it.
So hello, everybody. My name is Preston Hessen. I am currently the leader of Tiger Tech. I have 2 others with me, Christopher and Tanner. We are grateful for this opportunity to talk with you all today, and hopefully you like our product. We will begin with our introduction video. Yeah. See it? I don't know. Hopefully. Can they see that?
No, we cannot.
Okay.
Just as a response.
There we go. Can you guys see this?
No.
Okay.
Do you want to dive into your presentation and see if we want to come back to the introduction?
It almost sounded like they couldn't share their screen because it looked like they were on mobile. So
Okay. Yeah, let's hope they're able to respond. Anybody else from Tiger Tech who's there? Mr. D, are you there?
Arrowhead, I was going to say, looks like they might have disconnected.
Okay.
I'm here, but not with the kids.
Okay. I think we'll just keep moving on, and we'll have them back whenever they are. So the order would change, I guess. So let's have the next team on board. Smart Lions. I see James. James, are you going to be the presenter?
Yes, I will be the presenter for today.
Okay. Are you the only one presenting, or is there somebody else?
It's just me. Besides the person, not one
Okay.
So
this is Smart Lions, and the high school is De La Salle. And I'll leave the floor to you, James. Go for it.
Yeah, so you're gonna screen share right here. Yep. Now, is Mr. Madden gonna bring up the deck?
I have the slides right here.
Okay, so put that up on your screen and then hit share screen.
Right here?
No, here, first go share. Okay, now bring up the deck. There you go, perfect. Go back to the beginning.
DLSL Smart Lines presentation. Here we go.
My name is Emil. I go to DLSL. I'm a freshman. My plans are after high school to go to the NFL.
Hi, my name is Nevaeh. I'm a freshman at De La Salle, and I want to be an OBGYN when I graduate, I guess.
My name is James. I am a 10th grader at De La Salle, and I will be going into the Army after high school.
Hi, my name is Deanna Beard, and I'm a senior at De La Salle, and I want to be an OBGYN when I get done with school.
My name is Matthew. I go to De La Salle. I'm a senior. And after high school, I'm go to college for business. My name is Degia Hooker Jackson. I'm a senior at De La Salle High School, and my plan is after school is to be a dental hygienist.
So in our plan, it was to invest. Invest in both robotics lab and VR lab. We could use the majority of the space that is given to separate or combine both labs. That was one of our initial designs on the whiteboard. And then for this, we can make this space functional for both the open and green spaces. We aren't just doing one thing, we're adding open/green room spaces. There will be space for a tennis court using open spaces, which is outside, and green screens for the projector reflections would be outside use for media projects. So this is all of our stations right here. Station 1 automotive, Station 2 fabrication, Station 3 code/media, and then rooftop community engagement space. We would have solar panels and a hangout spot for people to come out and hang out, if that's doable. And then for this one, in this space, this is for tech and design, I think. I forget which one's which.
Your 3D design.
Yeah. In this space, the teens will proactively learn how to do automotive 3D design and technologically like media production. XR Lab space will be used for teens to learn different skilled trades and learn the responsibility. Our initial plan, build a hydroponic lab on the roof, along with the mini rooftop event space for community engagement. Resolution, use the garden lab that is currently on site to save costs, $650,000 for the green room. Community engagement. We can get the community involved to be a part of the Innovation Lab by having open house or a fundraiser. We also had the initial plan to have small event space on the roof for the community to use, similar to the Big Brothers and Big Sisters headquarters. We also forgot to add to this slide of the store and potential coffee shop that would be available. So Station 1 on this side is automotive and aviation. Station 2, fabrication and 3D printing, and Station 3, digital media. And that's the end of the presentation. So that, and then here is my video.
Here, where our initial goal was to build a greenhouse on top of the roof, but when we realized it would be $650,000 was the number we got, we chose instead to help build it in the garden, where it would be way safer and it would be way cheaper. And then, if you follow me over here, where there would be a coffee shop or a good shop, depending on how you want to look at it. Here we would offer students coffee right for half the price, and then we would offer, like, let's just say somebody wants coffee, they can come up here, get it, and then go. So then we're also making money throughout this. And then over here for the tech lab and digital media lab, our goal would be for students to be able to build drones, PCs, and be able to flip them and sell them. And in this room, right next to it, would be our test subject area.
Technical difficulty. We're gonna restart the video, I think.
That's fine. Go ahead.
So right here, where our initial goal was to build a greenhouse on top of the roof, but when we realized it would be $650,000 was the number we got, we chose instead to help build it in the garden, where it would be way safer and it would be way cheaper. And then if you follow me over here, where there would be a coffee shop or a good shop, depending on how you want to look at it. Here we would offer students coffee for half the price, and then we would offer, like, let's just say somebody wants coffee, they can come up here, get it, and then go. So then we're also making money throughout this. And then over here for the tech lab and digital media lab, our goal would be for students to be able to build drones, PCs, and be able to flip them and sell them. And in this room, right next to it would be our test subject area, where we would test our drones to see if they would work in a safe, controlled environment. And then follow me. And then over here would be our fabrication and 3D design. I might have spelled design wrong, but over here would be where, let's just say, our 3D printers would be at, where we would use that to like design parts for people, design objects for replacements, stuff like that. And then over here would be where we would make clothes, where we would design stuff in this room. And then over here would be our automotive and aviation area, where here we would pretty much get rid of or have taken care of our drones, and here we would fix cars. Like right here, these cubes represent the lifts that we still would need, pretty much. And then all the way up front is the shop, where we would sell everything from, we would sell drones and PCs to the public. So we are also interacting with the community. Thank you for your time. That is the end of my presentation.
Great job, Team Lions, Smart Lions. I'll open up for judges for questions.
So again, more feedback than questions. Great job being able to adapt to a presentation change, especially presenting solo. I know how difficult that is. You did excellent. I really enjoyed the community interaction aspect. The fact that you're monetizing, parts of the Ignition Lab so you can generate revenue will give you guys so much experience with different skill sets, everything from entrepreneurship to actually building out PCs and drones. Maybe an idea for you guys when you're looking at the automotive sector, with electric cars being a huge part of dropping carbon emissions, maybe there's a way for you to think of ways of converting current gas-powered cars to electric engines. Just something to think about. Great job presenting, guys.
So I had an interesting idea based on what you showed. You mentioned the coffee shop, where it was like an idea. I think you said something to the effect of getting students like an experience in like entrepreneurship and like running a business, get some of that experience. I think one really, really cool idea that could come out of what you showed is combining the electronics and coding aspects with that coffee shop. So a project that you guys could do together with that space might be automate the coffee machine so that it actually puts out the right amount of coffee based on like an app. And then from there, you could also do another like data analysis project where you analyze like what are the types of flavors that people are buying, what do people really like, and that way you get to see not only the entrepreneurship aspect and the customer service part, you also get to see how that intermingles with the coding and the technical skills, and you can see how it impacts nearly any job type. So I think mean, I don't know if necessarily that's where you were going with it, but it gave me a really awesome idea. And I think that's, part of the power of what you just showed us, that it's a jumping off point for some really, really cool ideas. So nice job.
Yeah, I'd like to echo the previous comments and just give kudos for the courage to go ahead and say we want to propose a rooftop space, but not just propose it because it's a nice add-on, but figure out how to help pay for it, how to leverage it with the community. You've got a tiny little building to do a lot of stuff, and you've got to really think about maximizing every square foot of both the yard and the building, and you've brought the rooftop into that consideration, but not without some thought about how to offset the costs of the 650,000. Not sure if that's what the real number would be, but also appreciate that you're actually thinking about the dollars. So good job on that.
How did you come up with that dollar amount, by the way? Was that through research, or did you have to consult someone?
So we consulted a couple people here, Operation Breakthrough, and then we also did some form of research behind it. So that idea was a greenhouse on top of a rooftop, and that's how we came up with the price of $650,000 of laying stuff out, putting material up there, refortifying the structure, stuff like that. So we switched it around. We're like, what if we were to move the greenhouse somewhere else and to put a community like hangout spot with solar panels generating electricity for the building? So then it would be a safe, environmental friendly type of system going on.
Okay, so then instead of having to invest in like the glass stuff, the only investment part that you have to do now is just reinforce the structure, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
And
cool.
Taking that idea a little further, I'm curious if y'all gave any thought to how you open that rooftop up for other organizations in the community. Is it a space you could rent out, and how might you access that without going through the interior of the ignition lab?
So I spent I'm new to the Unity in general. So one of my ideas was, I didn't get time around it. You actually just gave me this idea, is that we build a stairway up to it, a nice strong structural stairway up to it, so that the community could have access to it and could rent it out.
That could be cool.
I'm going to jump in here and say that your ideas for the entrepreneurship are brilliant. I think the computer refurb, the coffee shop. It's not just a way for kids to be part of that, but it's also people who are not involved with Operation Breakthrough. They can then be part of buying and supplying for the kids and things like that. And I think that's really, really brilliant. I was just going to ask you about the indoor spacing and the dividers. I seem to have a big thing with the walls. What were you thinking with the walls on the interior, like dividing the different spaces? And again, what was brought up with the other team was the sound limitations that you have between the different spaces.
So from automotive to fabrication and 3D design, I wanted there to be as least amount of sound coming from automotive, because you don't want to hear somebody say, hey, give me a pocket wrench or something like that to fix a car. In reality, what I wanted was it to be a safe environment, so if they're communicating, they don't have to worry about hearing outside noise come in and to distract them. Like for and between fabrication and coding and stuff, I don't want students getting distracted from one side to another. So I like to keep like sound barriers up or something, so that they don't have to worry about that happening to them.
Did you have somebody on your team that is interested in clothing design and construction? Is that how you came up with that space that would also be products sold in the storefront? Because I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah. I came up with we together as a team came up because we were looking at ideas for it, and one of them was that that I personally know people who would want to go out, start their own clothing brand, but they don't know where to start. And they're like, well, what if we were to, and I was like, well, what if we were to offer it here? And they're like, yeah, why not? Like, let's throw that in there.
Reach out to Thalia Cherry.
I want to say I really like how you combined the automotive, I believe, which may have been something you heard prior to starting work, that there was an automotive feature. Obviously, it's the past life of the building is automotive repair, but that you've combined that with aviation, and knowing that in our regionally, going down to Wichita and up to Kansas City, there's a great amount of aviation in this area. Aviation work, Garmin being one of the tech side of aviation companies that I'm sure there would be a lot of support for that type of function within this Ignition Lab.
Yeah, following up on that, I really like the drone idea. That hits a lot of different pieces of the point of the Ignition Lab, from manufacturing to STEM research. But then I love how you incorporated even a sales shop for drones. I thought it was pretty cool.
Great job, team. I mean, if you're not going to take Nikhil's idea, then I'm going to grab that one. Love the idea to extend it out for the coffee machine and do some programming around it and then analyze some of that data. I mean, it is all very real and something which would be a really awesome project that somebody can showcase it. So that was a great point. But kudos, Team Smart Lions. I mean, this has been awesome. Judges, any other questions, or should we move on to the next team? Okay, I will give you a couple of minutes to make your notes. In the meantime, I'll look for the next team to come on board, which would be Smart Drive, and I'll catch hold of, I think, Bryson, you will probably be the presenter. Is that correct?
Yes, I will be.
Okay. Bryson, you should have the permissions to be the co-host. Give about 30 seconds or so, and we are ready. If judges, are you ready? Just ping on the chat or show a thumbs up, whatever works. And if you need more time, do let us know accordingly also.
May I begin?
Looks like it is. Go for it.
All right. My name is Bryson Shields. I am the team lead for Team MindDrive. My goal is to be an electrical engineer specializing in safety. I am joined by my creative lead, Cesar Alonso, and our mentor, Damon King. I'm going to go ahead and start us off with our video. All right, you should be able to hear it. Let me know if you can't.
What we have provided for you today is a simple and clean modern design of the space that you gave us. Once you enter, we can see that there is a retail space with a monitor that will be displaying courses and images of students volunteering in these courses. You can also obtain information from the front desk and or buy the MindDrive brains behind the desk. And to our right is where the students will be. Now, there are several tables around where students can all sit around and talk about what their courses are like, what they're experiencing within these courses. And not just that, we also see that there's even a table where students will be working on smaller and more technical machinery, such as motherboards and things of that sort. Now, behind that, we can see that there is a long table with multiple PCs set up. Well, that is because students will be testing out hardware there, or making rooms in VR, XR, MR, AR, and be able to test it within these VR booths that we see right now. Now, each VR booth is set up so that there is a monitor for anyone who wants to can see whatever the person who's in the augmented reality, virtual reality can see. Now, there will also be a speaker in each one of these booths where you can also hear what they're hearing. So everything will be a shared experience. Now, if we go into the garage, is where we really get serious. Now, here we see that we do have an Electrothon vehicle, which is an electric car made by students to race against other programs such as Minddrive. Now, we don't only see an Electrothon car, we also see FPV racing, which is basically first-person view drone racing. So we see whatever the drone sees by wearing some goggles that are connected to a feed from a camera. Now, beside that, we also see BattleBots. BattleBots is basically a place or a course where students come in, design a robot, and then take it to a competition to fight up against other robots. Based on its performance, you get a prize. Now, we don't only see that, we also see our 1967 Corvair van that will look like the Mystery Machine when we're done. It's an automated electric vehicle project that we're working on, meaning that by the time we're done working with this vehicle, it'll be converted fully electric. Not just that, it'll be able to drive itself. Now, behind that, we see our welding area. Now, this welding area is very small, but it'll work with the type of resources we're working with. We have welding bay 1 and welding bay 2. Now, next to these will be set up are the welding masks where students can put on before they get to before they start welding. Not only that, there will also be a shelf that will be providing safety equipment before entering the shop or while entering the shop. Now, with this safety equipment, students will put it on and be prepared to do whatever task that they need to do within this special area.
So we also used for research, we used our own personal experience at Minddrive and other STEM related organizations. Please get me out of full screen. There we go. So for example, we used the big monitor as that can be useful for teachers and students to show off something without having to have all the students crowd around a monitor. We also implemented a window because that will allow students to see in on what's going on and be able to see work being done on the various projects in that space. That's it. I will open it up for the judges to ask questions or see different things because I have this set up live.
So you guys didn't make any separate slides, right?
No, there's no slides.
Okay.
We did this all with recording. The way
Okay.
OBS records is it has to be this for this program. It's weird.
I'll ask, what's happening outside?
So we didn't have the time to really work on much outside stuff as we were having technical issues and only one person was actually able to do the design work in the program. But the second building over here would be used for metal 3D printers, 3D printing, and other heavy machinery that doesn't have room in the other shops. There's also the FRC arena, which came with it, that is set up for FRC competitions at a local.
Super cool.
That is cool. I had the same question, so thank you, Keisha, for getting
Yeah,
us
so
outside.
just for reference, the building shell, the robotics arena, and then the 2 outside building shells were provided in the starter kit, and then they furnish all of the stuff. So
Yeah.
just in case that wasn't obvious or it wasn't clear.
And did you guys apply the solar voltaics on the north building, or was that a part of the starter kit?
That's part of the starter kit.
Okay,
The only thing out here that wasn't part of the starter kit is these drones,
gotcha.
because we do drone racing.
Well, it's
Which
a
I
super
love as an idea.
impressive, yeah, super impressive virtual presentation and navigational ability. You guys are clearly fluent in this, and it's nice to give judges a good sense of the space. One thought I did have is I love the VR test booths and the way that you can kind of share it with everybody. Did you give a little thought to the ability to open and close those so you could separate the acoustics when needed?
We did not. We decided just to keep a open theme for it, as so people can stand outside and watch.
Neat idea.
Where did that idea come from, the VR booth?
So actually this project, when we were working on it, we were thinking about how we could implement VR into our design. So we used VR booths. We originally were going to have 4, but it didn't quite work out with space in the window, so we went with 3.
Such a cool idea. I really think that it's organic and that, it can be used in so many different ways. Have you seen the movie
David.
Ready Player One?
I have not, but I know of it.
That's exactly what I was thinking about when I saw it too.
Yep. You should check it out. It could help, continue to build that idea out.
Yep.
So I have a few questions regarding the front of the space that I was wondering what all you were thinking it's used for. So this first thing over here, like on the right side, is that a bench for people to sit down on, or?
Yes, it can also just be used for like general stuff storage. So backpacks can be set down there. Just general. We also have coat hooks along this wall.
Okay, yeah. That's nice detail. And so the idea is like, is there storage behind that kiosk, or like I see it's like a.
There would be, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I see that.
Yep.
Cool, nice.
And go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so we are pretty much just a hard rookie team. So all of this was done. This was my first time ever using this program and ever setting this up. Wow. So yeah, it was, and impressive. With only one student being able to do it, we were able to take designs from Thingiverse and turn them into OBJ files and then put them in here, which is how we got a decent amount of what we used.
You said you've used Tinkercad or some other program before though, right?
Yes, Tinkercad and Fusion. Or I've used Fusion, yes.
Okay, cool. Nice. And then I guess another question I had was, why circular tables?
So for general FRC and FTC robotics, circular tables are very nice. So you can set the robot in the center and then have everybody working on it from all sides.
Nice, yeah. From my FRC experience, I remember doing that a lot. Very cool.
So additional question, Bryson. So I'm sure you're kind of familiar with the speed with which technologies evolve, and wondering if, I know you guys had a really short amount of time, but I'm wondering if you thought about future flexibility as programs were phased out and others were phased in. Did you think about the flexibility of the space when you're putting in walls and fixed equipment, that kind of thing, or is that kind of next level?
I didn't really think about that, but there definitely would be room for different things to be added. I mean, these tables would allow for almost any project you can bring in on a cart. So it would have some flexibility.
Yeah.
And then the MindDrive space in the back would be, I mean, 3 tables is most what you need for any project, any big project.
Spend any like thought about like acoustics, or making sure it doesn't get too noisy in this space as well as the other space?
So we had not, but the other space will be relatively well sectioned off with a door, and the most will be the window. Really, it should hopefully be kept down with the speakers being forced to be kept low. So you're not blaring music out of one of the VR booths.
Hey, Bryce, I like the Scooby-Doo mystery machine. Did you give any, did you guys do any research on what it would cost for some of the kits? I also saw you had some of the race car as well. Did you guys look at all at what the cost would be to actually outfit the ignition lab once it's up and running?
We did not, but with our experiences with MindDrive and what we've done, a lot of these could be donations from unions and stuff. So that should help keep the price down. Most likely in this space alone, the most expensive part will be either the welders or the car jack.
Is the only way to get into this space through the front through the garage door?
No, there is a, if my computer would stop lagging and I would press the right button, there is a door right there.
Okay.
Which would allow to go into this hallway and into the main space.
Can you talk a little bit more about the VR booths? Like,
yes.
Picture what might be happening a day in the life of the Ignition Lab. What might be happening in those 3 booths?
So students who are using programs like Unreal and this program that I'm using now, or the other program, they could design something on some of the computers and then take it and put it in this booth using augmented reality or any other form of VR. The booths, so they have the screen and the speaker so people who are standing outside can see what's going on. They also have the mask holder and the controller holders so people can pick those up and interact and actually set up without having to put everything on a shelf.
Could you get the same, and I'm asking because I don't know, can you get the same effect without the fixed booths with just kind of the monitor on the wall and the hook for the goggles? What do the walls do that you couldn't do without them?
So the walls allow for everything. It helps keep the sound in and helps prevent people from accidentally running into someone else when using VR.
So it's more like a safety thing, right? Like this is your sort of VR area. Question here. You've got this gap between the kiosk wall and the VR booths. And I think there's a door here, but why not just have a door on the other side?
We hadn't really thought about that. Our main goal was just to get everything else set up.
Yeah, cool.
Question I had, Bryson, did you guys, you might have touched on this, was there some similar project research that inspired anything that you guys have built here?
Most of it came from our personal experiences with robotics and building cars at MindDrive and all that. So it's mostly personal experience and what we've seen in labs.
Thank you.
Yep. I have one other, and this is more of a design question. The muffler shop building itself, you have very open and transparent. On your other exterior building, you've just got the 2 small doors. Was that due to time, or are you thinking it would be that heavily walled?
That was a combination of time. We didn't really have time to think about that, but we could theoretically have a lot more windows in that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I might ask you about the VR booths again, or just an idea, to have them adaptable to be like social media and recording areas with green screen for, people who want to get into TV casting or making videos or social media kind of, digital things like that. So that'd be an idea to have sort of video production booth as well.
Yeah, and these could just easily be painted green as default so that you can do other things in it as well.
So would you then need roofs on them, ceilings on them?
Maybe, but also probably not. It just depends on what you're doing with that.
Thanks.
Yep. We also did these these luminescent signs, which would be on each VR booth, then the area in there, and the student workshop, which we decided to name this area.
I love that.
Very cool.
One last question about VR boots, and then I think we probably are out of time. Really, do those need dedicated computers as well, or where are you planning to pipe the content from?
They would probably come from one of the computers that the students are working with. But they could possibly need it. I'm not as familiar with how VR is set up, so that could be a reality where it need their own dedicated computer.
Right. So maybe if they don't need a dedicated computer, you'll need some sort of conduit with like a bunch of cables going to each of those boots from this like center table.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. Very nice, guys.
I just wanted to add on to what Bryson said. This isn't a finished product. There's a lot of room for improvement, obviously, but with the limitations of time that we had and the fact that we could only get one person to work on this, then we could improve this very much.
I think you've done an incredible job, so you shouldn't worry about that.
Yes, great job, guys.
I think it was a great job.
Nice work, guys. I know this is pretty amazing, and but just to keep things moving, we'll move on to the next presentation. But awesome job, Team MindDrive. I mean, this is just amazing.
Thank you.
I'll let the judges deliberate and make their notes and everything, and we'll have our next team, Team Smithville, ready. Kara, you should have, you and your teammates or your other presenters should have the privilege to be co-host. We'll wait a few minutes before you guys can come on and share your screen.
Awesome, thank you.
Judges, are we good?
Okay, I will start. I see a lot of thumbs up.
Go ahead.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
Okay. 1 second. We're going to start with introductions. I'm Kara Braithwaite. I'm a senior at Smithville High School, and I'm a part of FBLA. After high school, I want to go into entrepreneurship.
Hi, my name is Elise Denny, and I'm also a senior at Smithville High School. And some things that I like to do other than academics is I enjoy being on the swim team and watching football with my family. I just recently, actually last week, accepted my application to Missouri State to pursue business administration.
Hi, I'm Alexis Payne. I'm a junior at Smithville High School. I've been involved in FBLA for a little over a year now. My plans for after high school is to pursue a career in psychology.
Awesome. Going to present that. Okay, we're going to move on to our presentation. So our research that that led to our vision is we started with the understanding of the culture of Operation Breakthrough and 87 and running charity. Through this, we found that the key points were safety and health, food, shelter, transportation, and STEM. After we found the culture of what's going on, we went to go search out the job market and what is up and coming. And we found out that the big trades like are health, trades, and retail. And that kind of also links with life skills of what teens are learning and need to learn. So all of our research also brought us back to our three-prong approach, which is identify a career that they want to do or a life skill that they need improved on or helped with, and then we certify them in that, and then that also then leads to employment and life success. So some of the 3D virtual softwares that we used, so we started with Reality Composure, and our team is mostly business people, and our IT part of it was unable to attend and help us with this. So we aren't very familiar with software products and things like that, and so we kind of just worked with it. The Reality Composure we had quite a bit of difficulties with, so we went to Tinkercad and Homeroom Planner, and you'll see those layouts as we go through our presentation. And before she goes to the loft area, we wanted to point out that when we were visiting the muffler shop that we really realized how much space there was, not just going on the plain level floor, but also just building up, and how the height of that can improve. And our next presenter will kind of go into details with that.
So when we were talking yesterday and discussing, the culture around the area, we talked about how students go to the library to study for a quiet space. And we figured we could use the loft as a quiet place and a safe place to study with tutoring resources. We'd also like to have group therapy sessions for, struggling growing up in an unsafe environment or just struggles in general. But up in the loft, we'd like to have it be our soft skills, learning life skills, writing resumes, and doing mock interviews, just trying to zero in on a career path for them. We'd like to call it Station 87, and we would like to have a local radio station running out of that loft. And the interior design, it would probably be like an open office space, and it would have nice furniture.
Okay, so this part of the whole Ignition Lab is going to be for the certification of knowing where they want to go in their future career and in trade. So this would be a partnership with Station 87. And since Station 87 is designed to focus on the soft skills, personality test, understanding where you want to go, what you want to do, this leads perfectly into Bay 3, the center, core, and heart of the Ignition Lab. It is an all-virtual lab built for technology, engineering, and innovation, and it will be used to fine-tune the skills of each student just so that they understand where they want to go. And so since we've very much understood, especially in this time, that trade is the backbone of careers right now, a focus on construction, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, home inspection, project management, driver's education, food handler's license, and CPR certification are all good aspects to just test to see their understanding. So this would basically be a virtual lab where students would, and the kids would come in and they would prove their understanding of structure, framing, ampage, installation, things in regards to each topic on which one they choose that they want to go into. So an example would be like, what if one of the students comes down and they're like, hey, I want to be a truck driver and I want to be able to pursue that as a career. And they try to do the driver's education, but they don't pass the simulation. This would mean they would go to Station 87, fine-tune their skills, and kind of figure out what they're really good at. And they'll be like, hey, I am really good at math. Maybe I should go the electrical route. And then they go in, and basically once they pass the simulation, this would advance them into other bays where they would pursue their practical lab innovation and eventually be able to hold a stable future career in trade.
So we basically divided everything into 4 big projects that each bay would be working on. One of the ideas for project 1 was constructing a tiny home for veterans who are homeless. This would be their big project for the first semester, I think we agreed on. They would develop the house, and it would be an apprenticeship opportunity and entrepreneurship opportunity. And we would donate these houses to veterans in need. The second project would be developing a mechanic shop. And so this is where we would work on transportation and stuff for these, and for, you know, people around the city. We would like to have something like Uber or the Amazon vans that they have now. Our goal would be to make all electrical vehicles. And then project 3 would be our food truck and our retail. We figured we'd have like a little fashion area for our ignition lab. They would be working on clothing. We had the idea for a dress for success, which would mean the fashion people would design outfits for business for kids who don't have the money or resources to get professional clothing. And then our fourth project would be for our health science area. This would have nutrition and wellness courses. There'd be patient scenarios where it's like a role play. They have to help diagnose a patient and treatment options, training from RNs, CPR certification. And then we had the idea for a community blood drive where the health science kids would help organize a blood drive, working with blood and learning about the ins and outs of phlebotomy.
And then we expand onto the rooftop. So our idea for the rooftop was that we would make a community greenhouse garden so that you can grow fruits and vegetables all year round, even with the cold. And then also inside of our greenhouse, we wanted to include bees and have them have bees there in the greenhouse, and then they can go in and out. And so that they, one, they produce honey, and then also that they help our plants to grow. Also, with the honey that the bees do produce, you can make it into an entrepreneur side and make candles, chapstick, really whatever with that honey or wax that you do with those. Also, on top of the roof space, we were thinking of having around the perimeter high top tables that the students can sit at and do their homework or just kind of hang out and relax around the area. Also, in the middle, and you kind of see this 3D model over here of how we have a green rectangle in the middle. We were thinking of bringing in some fake grass as kind of use it as a yard area. So we have yard games on there, and also movable seating such as waterproof bean bags and things like that. And then we kind of also were pondering the rooftop. As much as we wanted to do the rooftop, it's very expensive. And so we also were proposing that maybe not on the rooftop, but you could bring that into the parking lot, or also the community garden right next door to it that Operation Breakthrough owns. And that is it for our presentation. We're open for Q&A.
I have a question for the team. Would you guys come to our office and give some presentation coaching to some of our people?
I know, right? It's like really impressive.
You guys have incredibly clear, coherent delivery of your ideas from start to finish, and using the kind of the three-pronged approach as a means of organizing your presentation. Kudos in a big way. Very nicely done. Maybe that's your business interests and backgrounds coming through, but that's going to serve you well. And secondly, I love that you're putting a big emphasis on the development of the soft skills, and we call them enterprise skills or transversal skills, those skills that are going to help graduates through any career change across their working life. Just can't underscore the importance of that enough. So I really like that that's kind of a front and center piece, and that you're leveraging the volume of that space to get maximum use out of the square footage. So really cool ideas.
I really liked two things. One is I liked that at the beginning, you chose what to focus on in the space and what was required there based on targeting some, future of work or something to that effect, right? Like you chose some jobs or something to that effect and then worked backwards from there. I think that makes a lot of sense because you don't know what you need until you know what's out there. Secondly, I really liked that, I guess what you call the Station 87 area. I liked the fact that there was a quiet space where it was all about like mentorship and you mentioned practice interviews. I think that's actually like really important. It helps, students bring up their, like figure out what the story it is that they're trying to say and then bring out those salient points and get confidence when speaking. So I really like that part. One question, if you go to the careers that you chose, you said you did a little bit of research about something to the effect of growth in those fields or something like that, right? Why'd you choose those? Can you talk to me a little bit about that? Or no, go to like slide number 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, why did you choose health, trades, and retail? And like walk me through that decision process.
So how we came up with health, trades, and retail is we did research on what is the new upcoming 2021 what's the job market for the like upcoming, and also this is valid for right now. And that is what we really found is that the health industry is really huge, trades industry is really huge. And so, but also that the safety, health, food, shelter, transportation, and STEM all works together with those. And so that is why we kind of really focused on those 3 big aspects as usually someone, a student or teen in the community picked between those 3. If that makes sense.
I had a question.
Yeah.
One of the ideas that you had that I thought was really innovative is, I think you called it tiny home. I'm envisioning a container home, for example. Where did you guys come up with that idea? And also, did you think about using the outdoor space? So if you were building a home out of a container, for example, that container could be stored outside, creating even more space.
Yeah, so I'm gonna let Elise talk about like how they came up with the tiny home area because she knows more about that. But one of the points that you also brought up though of why we didn't do much outside, use outside space is because with the plan that we were kind of given, it kind of looked like the outside space was already pretty much mostly developed. And so we really wanted to focus on the inside and develop the inside spots. But I'm gonna let Elise talk about the container and the tiny home kind of thing.
Okay, so one statistic that we found to be really important is that 1 of 4 homeless men are veterans. And so we were looking at ways to give back to the community, something that the kids would learn their own practical skills, be able to continue their own future, but also be able to give back in a way to the community and to Kansas City. And so when we see these homes that are quite small, they fit 1 person, it's something that they can learn construction, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, like they can learn those parts to it and get that experience. And I just think that we decided it would be really cool if they took the time to build those in the innovation lab and then give those back to the community to not only gain their own experience, but also to be able to say like, I did this and kind of drive past it just to be able to see like, this is something that I was able to do and get back to.
I thought it was a really unique idea.
So, Elise, is the concept with the tiny homes then that you would kind of modularize or build it on site and then take it to its permanent space where it would be placed for a veteran or whomever might be assigned to it?
Yes.
Is that the plan? So that it would recycle itself. You build another one and then another one.
Yes. It would be a 3-month project, so it would almost be like a semester. And each semester there would be a new one being able to be built and given to someone in need.
Yeah, and also
No,
when
no.
we're designing this
Oh,
kind
go
of,
ahead.
sorry, when we were designing our space and we were kind of thinking through what each kind of bay would kind of be, we really wanted to focus on our project would cycle through, and the spaces that we developed aren't just one single use, that there's something new coming in, and it isn't just a solid space.
So I really like the loft idea. I know others have already commented on that. And I believe there is enough room because they kind of have some loft space, which they store stuff in there now. It's a bit rickety when you go in there if you've had a chance. But there may be enough volume or vertical space to actually do that within. That's neat. And then on the outside, the turf area, instead of just having it all be paved, with concrete or hard surfaces, you've brought in that turf concept. Even though you said you didn't really develop the exterior much, that is becoming very popular. And as you know from high school sports and all the fields now, there's very few that are real grass anymore. It's because of the flexibility and actually safety of the newer AstroTurf. And so I think that works really well for the kinds of things that could be used outside.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love the hangout space on the rooftop and the addition of bees. So thank you about thinking about the bees. And yeah, Oscar mentioned I was interested in the loft space and how you came up with that idea.
Sorry, did you say you had a question about the loft space?
Yeah, so how did you, was that when you took your tour and you saw the some of the storage space? How did you guys decide that you wanted to put lofts in the vertical space?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about it a little bit, and then I'll have Alexis Payne talk about it a little bit. Yeah, so when we were taking our tour of the muffler shop, we really kind of seen how tall the muffler shop is. It's not huge, but it's since it's also such a confined space on the bottom level, that if we kind of built up, that it would give more room and additional space. Also, we've seen there was like a ladder. I know someone else kind of mentioned it about how there was some storage space up there. Kind of they had a sort of loft. We kind of seen that, and then it just kind of sparked ideas from there of how that would be awesome if there was an actual loft where it would kind of be the quiet space, and downstairs would be the more industrial and career paths. But I'm going to let Alexis Payne kind of talk more about that too.
Yeah, we, in our business class especially, we talk a lot about life skills and our soft skills. We're constantly working on resumes, to prepare us for, going out and, going into careers and stuff. We thought it was important to have that aspect. It's something that everyone's going to use at some point. And it just needed to be like a quiet space above, where everyone else is working. And we also, I don't know if I mentioned this, but in our downstairs Bay 1 area, we would like to have a shower, like a bathroom, a really nice bathroom for kids, who don't have hot water at home, to have a shower, and to, put themselves together and, actually get a feel for business and getting dressed up for work. And we just thought that was really important to have.
I really can't say enough about how appreciative I am of you thinking about the social emotional issues with students. In our Kansas City Engineering Zone, we've actually implemented a quiet space, and we have 3 years ago implemented a quiet room at our first robotics competitions, because we find that with so much going on, a lot of students need a place to go to quickly turn off that noise, or to have a moment to be by themselves or with a trusted adult as they work through issues that when things are so noisy, it's hard to do. So I just really appreciate that you thought about that, and you thought about the kids that would be using the space and how they might benefit from that. So thank you.
I would just like to say just a couple of little things that I think you said that you faced challenges, that you didn't have your IT person. You guys did an amazing job without that. I know that the other guys had a virtual reality tour walkthrough, but you managed to fill that gap really well. And so bravo on that. Another thing that I thought was really important, and it was only a small thing, was the mental health aspect that you thought of with the therapy room, or the quiet, like the lady just said, with the quiet space. I think that's so important, and to be able to have something to facilitate that was really, really good, and you thought about that a lot. I think that your idea of the radio station was brilliant. It's, it's community, it involves a lot of people, it's fun, and people can be part of that outside of Operation Breakthrough and the Ignition Lab as well. I also really, really loved the bees. I think it's such a big sort of nature and educational thing that facilitates not just honey. It's like you said, lots of other different aspects as well. And also you guys gave brilliant thought to the educational courses and how that impacts careers that are up and coming, the big sort of educational facilitations for that. So well done, girls.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hate to interrupt. I mean, this has been a great conversation, and but I think we need to move on to the next team. So great job, Team Smithville. I think you did an amazing job with the presentation, and one of the judges' comments mentioned it about it too. So kudos to all the hard work and good work on this one. So
thank you so much for the opportunity. We appreciate it.
Glad to have you. I'll let the judges make their notes and points. And our next team would be Team Kritik. And this is a team from Norway. I will have Nikolai as the presenter come on board. So.
Yes, hello. My name is Nikolai. I'm 13 years old, and I was the only one developing this project. And because of time
Nikolai,
zone,
just a second. Let give few seconds for the judges to make notes on the previous presentation, and then
okay.
I'll let you know when you should be ready to go. So okay, just keep all your things ready, and you should have the co-host right, so you should be able to share your screen and everything. Judges, we are good. I see a few thumbs up. All right. Nikolai, the stage is all yours.
Yeah, so because of time zone differences, I had a little less time to develop, and because of technical difficulties while developing, I don't have that much, but I will still show you what I came up with. So this is the Unity project that I've been working on. Here you can see the school itself. We will have solar panel on many roofs. Here we will have for different designs of clothing, basically just hobbies for students to use. In here we would have VR and AR development, and possibly computers, circuitry, and game development. In here we will have the garage and a welding station for different things, I guess. Yeah. here is a large garden where you can create your own food, use it to sell. And I didn't really get much in here, but this place is for culinary arts and food. In here we have the main building, so you come into the cafeteria. Here we will serve different kinds of foods behind the counters. There are also different rooms for different things like development, as I said, circuitry, different things. In here we have a storage closet. And here we have the main area where people can hang out, do what they want. I didn't really have time to get some larger tables. I didn't really think of that. Some things to project on the screen. Here we have the electrical area for managing electricity and getting the produced electricity from the solar panels. And that's here. Just need to move this thing. So it will be out in the wilderness, I think, for less sound. There's a road going there, yeah. In here we have a robotics lab with Billy and different computers and seats and things that you might need for robotics. Here again, and stuff for managing electrical. And yeah, that's basically just my presentation.
Nikolai, how'd you find out about the hackathon?
My teacher told me.
Brilliant to think to join something as your own self and navigate a time zone and a different country. I am just impressed with your confidence to present and to try something new. Is this your first time to play around with Unity and VR?
Not really. I downloaded Unity a few months back and I'm currently developing my indie game.
Oh, this is fantastic. Well, kudos to you to jump in and do this by yourself. I'm impressed. There's a bunch of things in the chat that you should check out when you're finished answering questions of the judges. But I really appreciate your willingness and your confidence. And I also like that you talked about things that have to be in a building, like electrical. So if we're going to put solar panels, where is the electrical conversion equipment going to go? And that actually eats up footprint. So I'm sure the architects on the who are judging will actually speak to the reality of use of square footage for that.
Super impressed for that detail, Nikolai. So what time is it there? Just out of care, you said you had a late start because of time change difference.
Right now it's 7 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the two ramps. I really think that's really interesting. It looks like you ramp up to the top of one building and then ramp from that top to the next.
Yes, I didn't get time to put in stairs, and I thought that, well, there are stairs inside the buildings and there are entrances to sort of access the different solar panels and the top gardens for example, maintenance or use. I just made a few ramps that can be staircases to get up there.
Great.
The other thing I really appreciate, Nikolai, is that you're thinking about systems in their complete loop, whether it's your garden to the culinary arts lab, to the cafeteria, to the table, or the photovoltaics, as Martha was saying, into the energy conversion and into the lighting system. So there's a really great kind of process of thinking that you're putting into these ideas that complete the loop. So kudos for thinking that way.
Thank you.
So a couple of questions. One comment. I really like the ramp thing. And then the other comment is, I agree with what David and Martha said of like, if you've put something in the space, you've thought about like, what else does it require to function? And then also what else can we do with the output of it? So like the like culinary arts, taking stuff from the garden and stuff. I really like that. But the other question I had was, so you actually modeled and added extra buildings, right?
Yes.
Yeah, wow, that was pretty complete.
Well, I was going to say, since we have a board member in the judging group, they thought I was done with this project, but obviously you've shown that there are other ways we can use our land for potential future projects. So, David, I hope you're observing that.
Yeah, yes, Mary. I wondered. We'll have to get Nikolai to work on our future projects as well. And Nikolai, I was impressed with your mastery of the software. Really well done.
Thank you.
Did you model the like the seats and stuff yourself, or was that like from?
No, I got that from the asset store. Our modeler on our team, he got sick after Friday, so he has been sleeping the entire day.
Oh, no. Oh yeah, I guess another point is I like that you specifically mentioned storage, and like, again, this is all like part of that complete thinking, I guess, right? Of like what the process is of like using the space. You obviously have to store stuff, and or it's not obvious. So I really appreciate that you spent time thinking about those things also.
Thank you so much. And just as a note, I mean, with Nikolai, we had a lot of issues getting the base project in as a starting point that we provided to all the teams, just getting it to run, and some of the things which we were just not able to overcome. But I'm glad he's able to run through it and build it out. Kudos, Nikolai. I mean, I think Joel and I were pretty nervous about how things are going to go, but you did an amazing job. If judges have any other questions, or are we ready to move on to the next presentation? All right, I'll let the judges make their notes. Thank you, Nikolai. And the next team is Team Ojito from Madrid, Spain. I'll let you guys become the co-host and then do your presentation. So just hold on. I'll let the judges make their own notes on things. So,
okay.
So whenever everyone is ready.
Fernando, just give us a few seconds. I'll let you know.
Yeah, sure.
Can we see you, Fernando?
I don't have webcam.
Fair enough. Good excuse.
So, Fernando, you can go ahead.
Sure.
I think. Go ahead with your presentation. So, Team Ojito.
Can you see?
Yes, we can.
We are Fernando, the one at the top, and Adrian, the one down there. We are from Spain. We are studying as 3D generalists, and we are very happy to be in here. we thought of this project as an immersive lab where you would have interactive zones and people can be educated and perform different tasks so they can be in a safe space. For example, we thought on dividing this on an info room where you can have all the information about the zone without getting lost, and you can come here and consult in any time. You will have a chemical lab, so there will be some activities you can do there, and such as making chemistry, but as it is a simulation, you are safe and you don't need to worry about all the dangers that it involves. Also, a security zone, so any protocols that you would have to learn about the security, you can reproduce it. And it is supposed to go on an environment like this, so it is very open and green. And well, let's start with the, let me, how do I stop this? Okay, so let me show you the simulation we made, where we made some interactions. You will stay on a space, on an open space where there would be marks so you don't get lost. On the interactive zones, you have to follow like a protocol or something like that. You can have this view of the plan, so you are always knowing where you are and you can check all you want. This robot over here is supposed to give you the info, but there was no time to make it work. So, for example, you'll have a lab where you will do some tasks. This was an easy activity, so it's only an example, but you imagine that this is mixing chemistry. This is an easy example. Well, and this will be green, so letting you know that you have completed it. Then, for example, we thought this zone as an storage, and you will have to take the packs all the way to this zone and let them be packed over there. You just stack them, and it's like another kind of task we thought about. It will be interesting. And then, for example, you have this shower that is used, we research, and these kind of showers are used in the chemical labs and that stuff. So whenever there is any danger or any issues with the chemistry, you can come here and take a shower. And well, the idea was to recreate like a chemical lab or kind of zone where you can have the people being educated in an interactive and fun way. And that's pretty much everything. We thought to have this like explaining every zone and that stuff, but we didn't have time to implement it.
I love how you made everything super interactive in your actual VR simulation. How did you learn how to do that?
Well, I'm like more programming than modeling and that stuff. So I just used some Steam VR things we had over here, and then with some assets Adrian found and that stuff, we merged them, and with the programming and the assets, we made the interactions.
Very cool. And you actually just brought up a great point about game design. and 3D like doing these types of visualizations is that it actually brings in sort of at least 3, if not 4 or 5 different processes, which are actually, yeah, at least 5. The 3D modeling of an individual object, designing the virtual space and laying stuff out, choosing what are the right objects to put there, coding to like show the interaction and make things like movable or have them do stuff. And then you didn't exactly talk about this, but we've seen this in some of the other groups. Like, what's the actual story? Like, why are you doing something? Like, how do we,
Well, we didn't really exactly know what tasks you will be commended and that stuff, but we thought of this like you can have this space as a virtual space where people can connect over here and learn about, I don't know, like I told you, for example, like the security process or protocols you will follow and you will have to learn. It is more interactive and not boring to learn this way than if you have to memorize something.
Yeah, very cool. And I like how actually you kind of did talk about that story aspect right at the beginning, because you mentioned that for a chemical lab or like a chemistry lab, I guess, you need to have the safety shower and some other like protocols. So
yeah, it was kind of an example we got over there.
So let me ask another question also. Why did you choose chemistry as like the main use of the space? Is there some sort of cutting edge idea that you like, or maybe you just really like chemistry, or what?
Oh,
what
because I really thought that it's not always. Well, I have some friends they are studying biology and these things, and they love to go to the lab, but as they cannot always go to the lab and they love the practice, I thought it was a good idea to let people practice whenever they want.
Cool.
So these were very basic interactions, but obviously they were meant to be an example for more complex chemistry and mixes and all of that.
Additional comments, thoughts, judges?
I also really like the your VR walkthrough was really impressive graphically and well done. I also was interested in the chemistry angle. We do have a few companies in Kansas City that do high-end work that involves chemistry. That's a pretty good tie-in from a skills perspective. I thought it was well done.
I thought the other thing that was interesting is the idea of showcasing protocols using the 3D modeling to keep it interesting. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and I totally think that when we, like work on our final versions, like combining some of the ideas from all the students, modeling that sort of interaction and just making sure there's enough space, like we have all of those protocols in place, and just testing them out in the 3D space before we build anything is an awesome idea. So I'm glad that Fernando, like you highlighted that, because that's something that I guess is not obvious, that now that we know we can do this, we definitely should.
Awesome. Great job, Team Mojito. This was wonderful. I mean, I'm blown away with that realistic shower that you had going on over there. So amazing job with this. I'll let the judges spend some time making their notes, and we'll have our next team, Van Horn, come up for their presentation. So I'll assign the roles to TJ and Darius to make their presentations. Hold on, guys, for a minute or so. Let the judges do their thing. And one other comment I had, I know we were aiming to get done around noon for this, and we have 2 more presentations to go. But it was really hard to stop the teams when they are in the middle of their presentation. And I just didn't want it, that wouldn't have been good because they are doing such an amazing job. So please, I mean, bear another 30 minutes or so with this and giving us 30 more minutes for our deliberation. So we might push back our awards 30 minutes from the time we finish over here. So just hang in over there. I know you guys have worked really hard over the weekend and everything. This is just the last piece to it. So we really appreciate for you to be there. So. TK, Darius, you guys should have the access for presentation. Go for it.
Hello, judges. My name is Darius today from Van High School. I'm a senior along with TK. He's a junior. And I hope you guys like our presentation today about the Ignition Lab. There's our intro video.
Hello, my name is Tykeus Fountain, otherwise known as TK. I am a junior at Van Horn High School, and I will be working alongside Darius Ross today. This is my second year being here at Hackathon. I'm very honored to be here. It was a great experience last year, and I hope we can make another experience and show you guys what we can do this year. My name is Darius. I'm a senior at Van Horn, 17. I was participating in VR with the Van Horn Falcons.
And this is my third year in Hackathon. It's just been a great experience for me my whole high school career. Before we get started on our presentation for Operation Breakthrough, because we usually do virtual reality and we got a building this time. So I wanted to, while doing research, I wanted to get some background knowledge on how this building affects the community and how it affects the people. So I had our coach, our VR coach, ask a volunteer some questions. So here's the video on some of the questions she's answered.
These are kids that don't have, almost every parent lives below the poverty level. And so they don't have the advantages. So when they come into OD in the afternoon, this is a whole new world. And look at the opportunities that it presents. So, there's a lot of reasons, but because of what they're doing, a lot of children are getting a start in the right direction. These are kids that.
So we came with a process in the building we named KCHOF. KCHOF stands for Kansas City Helping Others First. Our 3 basic main programs that we wanted to do was automotive, robotics, and we wanted to do a greenhouse. The automotive section of our building would get you 2 to 3 years experience and an ASE certified. The test costs it's a $34 extra fee, and the tests are $45 to $90 depending on the test. The short-term goals for this program is learn necessary skills to know knowledge about cars. So say your car breaks down on the side of the road and you want to change your tires, or your friend wants to ask you like, hey, do you know how to change brakes? Or somebody was stuck and your family's in trouble and now you know how to do that. And just to get certified, and long-term goals, if you want to join the program, you can get certified in 2 to 3 years if you want to become a master technician, a car technician, work at a car place. And robotics. So robotics are kind of on the verge of automotive place with the and robotics. You can make the robotics parts. Multi-purpose area can be used for CCNA, graphic design programming, and virtual and augmented reality. You can have that as a part of that too. And long-term robotics engineer certification is 100 hours. But for me, robotics is usually, because when we asked Mary some questions about it, she said they didn't have a robotics team yet. So I would like to see more kids get involved in robotics and potentially make a KC First team. And KC First offers scholarships, and other people offer scholarships for robotics. Like there's a mindful urgent care scholarship, and people can go to college for just being in robotics and sciences. In the greenhouse, a greenhouse is an extension of the space already used, support in the makerspace kitchen and the food trucks that they have outside. And you can grow the vegetables there in the greenhouse. You also can use them to use in the kitchen. You also can sell the vegetables, and you also can put them in your food truck and make money off of that way than spending money off of processed foods. You can get them fresh. And that's the entrepreneur side of it, of the growth rate of food trucks in the past 5 years, how you can make something and use natural ingredients instead of processed ones. And our building walkthrough, I'll have TK share his screen because of his Wi-Fi issues. So TK, could you share your screen? We have the computer lab / VR room over there.
I do apologize. My computer crashed on it. I can get it up as soon as possible.
Okay, that's fine. I'll just continue on. So basically, I would like to change the culture around for the kids, as you heard in the video earlier, who parents are going through it and they don't really have like much to look on. So I would like to get them, because college is not for everybody and it's definitely not pushed for everybody. So if you can get certified in a 2 to 3 year program and make money for your family that way, then I feel like we should be able to get them through with our programs and certified, or if even being in robotics get you scholarships and money to go to college for a potential dream. I feel like we should be able to do that with our programs. And I also have a second video by the same person that I asked more, that I have more questions and comments on.
3 years ago, I was working a giveaway, and Angel came to get Christmas, because she's now taking care of nieces and nephews, I don't know. And she said, "I'm so sorry, I'm late." She said, Tyrell graduated today, and I had to go to graduation. And I said, "Angel, you can be late any day you want for that." And their latest video, her niece, who she was taking care of, is now at KU in pre-law. And I thought, and Angel has never worked anything except, low-paying jobs, but she's done something right, because her kids, are flourishing, and those are the kinds of things that make you think, okay, you can keep going. 3 years ago, I was working.
And that's just one of the terms where you use, that's just one person in the community, that life we can change around by implementing something as simple as just an ignition lab. And for the end of my presentation, I would just like to thank Ignition Lab and Operation Breakthrough for wanting input on our ideas as just regular high school students on a bigger project than just ourselves. And I just want to thank the judges for taking out their time to listen to me present my ideas, me and TK's ideas. And that's it.
I do have the presentation, the walkthrough still back up if you would like to see it. I'm going to screen record it for you guys right now.
Go for it.
Can you talk a little bit through like what each thing is?
Oh, this is okay. So this is the VR room where students can have virtual reality, and those are computers over there where they can do software for the virtual reality and software for anything. And then that little booth is just the room for if you just want to like have a space to where you can just go and test your things, your products. And just space around for, like I said, robotics to just roll around. I know we had a car in there in the automotive shop on there for also to work on there. And in between it was the welding shop, but I don't, like I said, I don't, yeah. It was a Wi-Fi issue, so.
Well, I would like to applaud you, Darius and TK, for kind of the, I'll call it the maturity of looking at certification programs and kind of narrowing your focus on 3 programs, because you've really demonstrated an understanding of what's needed to get a certification to come out of Ignition Lab with something valuable that translates to a job. I think you've also recognized that Ignition Lab is not a huge building. So I think a focus on 3 programs kind of makes some pretty good sense. And that you're thinking about, time spent in Ignition Lab. If you're really going to help students go through a robotics program or an automotive or a greenhouse part, they're going to need to spend a lot of time there, which means they're filling that building up. And so I think it's different than some of the other projects we looked at that offer 14 different academic programs. There's some real sensibility about this approach to it. So I like that you've done some real thinking. It's almost like you've got some school administrator DNA in your system to help do that kind of curricular planning and really think about making sure that the kids are successful.
David, you read my mind. I really was very impressed with the research that you put into thinking of those 3 core areas and what the financial implications were going to be for the students. So yeah, ditto everything David just said.
I think the thing that you said at the end, which is that you were grateful for the opportunity that we're listening to you as just a high school student, was like such an interesting thing for you to say. And I think that like that culture of like listening to the student and empowering them is really, really important to all of us here. And so like, I guess I would say, never think of yourself as just a high school student. You have really good ideas too, as you showed us. And I really appreciate that, like, you found this opportunity really, really empowering for you, because that's what we're trying to do. I have one question about the jobs and the programs that you looked at.
Yeah.
Actually, sorry, like one comment and then one question.
Yeah.
One comment is you talked about how like college isn't necessarily for everyone, but at the same time, students aren't necessarily pushed to it either. Mm-hmm. And you talked about like using scholarships and stuff to make it more affordable and things. Is that something that you wish was like someone gave you a crash course on, like how to find scholarships, how to figure out like how much these things actually cost?
Yeah, me being a high school senior right now and wanting to go to college, I mean, in my household, my two older siblings go to college, but like me personally, yeah, like I wish I had, just like you have this GPA, you have these skills, you have this skills, you can apply for all these scholarships. And yeah, I just wish I had like something like that. And some people like most of the people in my grade, like most of my most majority of my friends, I ask like, "Hey, are you going to college?" And they'll be like, "No, like I just want to go to like a trade school. I just want to be like this or something." Like it's just not really pushed in like other than like myself. And sometimes I try to influence my friends. Hey, you should apply for here. You should go here. Like they don't have like this high. Yeah, like that's what I just wanted to do. Just put some of
Yeah.
my input into it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that kind of like mentorship experience, like, I mean, even when I like was applying to college and stuff, we didn't really have that much information. We just kind of did things and we're like, okay, well, hopefully we get in somewhere. Or hopefully we get the electrical engineering program, or hopefully we get the computer science just in case. But beyond that, like, I think this is true, like pretty much all schools, that the guidance on this isn't really that good. So I think you brought up a great point that like with Ignition Lab, part of the things that we should be focusing on is like, how do you know what are the options that are available for you, and have some people who have experienced the process of looking for scholarships and things, like really sit down with you and like go through it. Okay, so that was a comment.
Okay.
That was really nice that you brought that up. The second thing that I was wondering is, with some of the jobs in the like trade certifications that you talked about, did you do some research on like what the like median salary might be, or like places in the area that like hire those jobs?
That is a good question. No, I didn't really get to it because I was more focused on researching the like needs for certification rather than the job median or salary. I'm sorry. We could input that into further research or a final plan though.
Yeah, for sure. I think that would be super like eye-opening for a lot of students, right? Because like,
yeah,
until you like start looking at it in more detail and seeing like where does that opportunity actually take you, what's the career progression. If you're interested in looking more at that, like I would be happy to like spend some time with you and see.
Yeah.
Darius, you made a comment that I really liked, and I'd like to hear a little more elaboration on it. You said you're interested in changing the culture around for the kids. And I love that you're talking about the culture of where we learn. Can you elaborate on what you're thinking there?
Okay, so the culture in Kansas City, and okay, so me and TK started this project, and Friday we had to do research. Okay, so I'm in quarantine, so all I had was time to research. So I did a little background research on the schools, and there was a school like grading system, and all the school and the place Operation Breakthrough is on Truce, and all the schools in Kansas City had an average of C learning, and they were just like bad reviews and negative reviews on their education. So changing the culture would mean influencing more people to learn and trying to change the face around schools, because I see it every day, and I even see it in our school, Van Horn, when people look down on us as an independent school and think like they're just the ghetto independent school. And then I see all our teachers like encouraging students to do better high scores. We got a new gym. We're trying to fix up our school to try to make it put it like on top. So I think that we could do that with other Kansas City schools and get them out of that ghetto or negative image. And I feel like that would be important.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge, and I really appreciate that you're thinking about that and how you can give students in those inner city schools an aspiration to achieve, whether it's college bound or not. Your point is college isn't for everybody, and I think a lot of students feel like, well, if they're not college bound, then they don't rate up to a certain level. And I think your point is quite the opposite. So really love that.
Thank you.
Darius, could you and TK if I close my eyes, because we can't see the virtual reality that you created because the laptop crashed, if we closed our eyes, could you talk us through what we would have seen in what you had designed?
Yes, actually. So if you just close your eyes real quick for me, you see a VR room where you see basically an area where you put the VR headsets at, where what you probably saw for that first few seconds my computer was up. And out of that room, there was an automotive room where there would be a car where you can fix on that car. It's more like a group project of you fixing on that car. Tires on the wall, stuff racked up for the car, and then across the area, across that bay, there's a workshop, more like a testing area too, where you can build drones, refurbish computers, and just everything, so you can come back to the community and and then we have a greenhouse like across from that. There's a greenhouse where it's this like a glass wall connecting. You can still see through it, by the way, where flowers are flourishing and stuff, and then there's a pathway in that greenhouse. But that's pretty much all we had. Oh, and then there was a robotic center in the middle where robots will compete, and that was about it that I had built, but I couldn't really show you that.
I also liked your color scheme when you first popped it up. So was that something that you thought about as well?
Oh yeah, I actually inspired that from the color scheme from Operation Breakthrough in the lab itself. So yeah.
Yeah, I really like that you guys, went full in on the, the red, yellow Chiefs kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So, Darius, I liked two things stood out on the presentation you gave. One, I really liked the interview, both to open and close with the Operation Breakthrough volunteer. That was a cool touch. And then I liked you rolled right through, even when you had some technical difficulties that didn't seem to bug you. You kept moving forward. I appreciate that. And TK, I liked the VR work that you had done. The technical difficulties weren't your fault. I thought you did a good job of still trying to work through that. That's stressful. When you're presenting, you did a good job of keeping working through that.
Usually this is like technically my first year using VR stuff. Like I never really done VR. I'm more of a landscape type of person where I make open world maps. This is a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I struggled. I pushed through it, and for us. But yeah.
Guys, I want to share too that Rohit talked about the fact that you had some seniors on your team last year that graduated, and you guys are trying to build the team back up with younger underclassmen. So I'm going to be really excited in the spring hackathon. I'm hoping everybody that participated this time will be back, and I look forward to seeing who you guys are adding to the team for the next round. It's harder to do it virtually.
Yeah.
That is so true. That is so true. Yeah, I mean, VanHorn has been a great part of our program. I think they were one of our first few schools to be part of the VRoKCs program. But yeah, schools and kids pass out, and so you have to build in a new team. So that's what they are right now in that position. But great job, guys. I mean, pretty amazing. And I think the visualization that TK you did, and by closing your eyes, I think we love that quite a lot. So I'll let the judges make their notes and scoring. We have one last team, which we tried earlier, the Plattsburgh team. And Preston, are you still online? Anybody from the Plattsburgh team?
They should be on. It should be still under Preston.
Okay, I see Preston. He needs to respond.
Might be on mute.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, Preston. So you are now co-host. Wait for a few seconds. Let the judges make their notes for the previous team, and then we'll come back.
Okay.
To to do your presentation. Okay.
Hey, Rohit, I just wanted to double check real quick. Preston, are you guys sharing off of the account you're using right now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Judges, are we ready? All right. Preston, go for it.
Okay. I want to thank you once again for all being here, and we really appreciate the time you've taken out of your day to judge our project. We were once again sorry for earlier having technical difficulties, but we hope you can understand. So we'll get started with our slideshow that we have. Can you see everybody see this?
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool. Okay. So we'll begin with our presentation. There are more people that were involved with this. There is Alex Duarte and our mentor, Mr. Dickerson. Hello, everybody. I'm Preston Hessen with Team Plattsburgh. I am a junior currently. Here with me are my teammates.
Hi, I'm one of his teammates. I'm Tanner. I also go to Plattsburgh High School. I'm a junior. I'm also 18 years of age.
Hi, I'm Christopher Wade. I'm another team of the Plattsburgh team. I'm also a junior, and I am 16.
We have two other members with us, Alex Duarte and Mr. Dickerson. Alex Duarte helped us through the process with all of the schematics and gave a lot of input in it, along with Mr. Dickerson, who helped us immensely with figuring out what we needed to do. Thank you. There we go. We'll start off with the design and layout of the rooms that we have. We're first off with one of our larger rooms, which is a VR room. It is not necessarily strictly meant for just VR. It's a room dedicated to computers for kids to learn various topics going through coding, programming, computer, web designing, anything that would involve using technology or a computer, they can learn in this room. Next room we have, don't mind the title of it, we hadn't fixed that, is just a wide open area for people to complete projects or do various works that they may need more space for. They could just use this as a general place to hang out if they wanted to just calm their mind and get their mind off of school if they need to for a moment. It's just a free space for anybody to have fun in it. Next is our robotics lab. We'll have a room strictly meant for robotics that would involve building, constructing, coding and programming these robots, which can be done either in the robotics lab or could be completed in the computer lab. They can use this time to learn various different ways of programming and coding to help them, say, if they wanted to become a coder or programmer. It also gives them another option of what path they can go down to in their life or career choice. Another room that we have planned is a creative room. It's a room meant for people to do what they love, whether that be drawing, writing, creating something that doesn't have to be involved with technology. They could use this to just take their minds off of technology and do what they really love. Say writing a story, drawing a picture, doing a painting. There's multiple different options that could come with building this kind of room. Next is our classroom. Our classroom will have desks available for students that need help with various topics in their day-to-day lives that could help them understand problems that they may need more help with. It's just an open space to help kids learn better on what they might struggle with or may not understand. Finally is a theater room. This room will be meant for filming different movies or filming short films. They could use this opportunity to learn about the industry of filming. They could learn the most different careers they could go down in filming. They could be a director, they could be an editor, a writer. They could do something backstage. They could do something in front of the camera if they wanted to. This just gives them another opportunity to learn about the opportunities that come with if they wanted to do anything with the camera. That's it for our slideshow. So we'll move over to the Unity project. Can everybody see the Unity project?
We're still seeing a slide deck.
Okay.
Yeah, if you just shared one window, you have to unshare and share again.
There we go. Is this good?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So we'll start off with our main entrance into here. We'll have a lobby area for people to wait, along with a receptionist desk to help people come in and out faster and make things a lot smoother. In our original plan, we wanted to make this area more wide open so people could do more projects, but we decided to make this general area into its own creative room, just a larger area for people to do more with. So that way they could do the reading, the writing, drawings, anything they wanted to do out here, along with they have a more wider space to do even larger projects. If, say, the filming team or if somebody's doing filming, they could help out with set production, creating their own sets, which they will have opportunities with some of the equipment that we have available in the robotics lab. We'll move into our first room, which is the classroom. We have desks and multiple other things for students to use in their day-to-day life to help them learn topics better and understand the problems they may have in school. We'll move on to our next room, which is the robotics lab. In here right now, we just have a table set up with some shelving units to represent that this is an area where kids can come to create their own technology, along with they could learn things that could just help them in their normal lives. Say if they needed help with a phone replacing a screen, they could learn that within here and use that to help them in their life. This gives a large opportunity as well for kids that also want to learn construction. They can go to this class and this will help them understand the concept of the structure of building an item or a structure that they would need. We'll move on to our next room, which is our theater room. We have a TV with some chairs set up for people to watch several different documents or stuff that could help them understand the concept of recording and producing their own short film or movie, and just a general room to help them understand what it means to help with that side of the production. So in our final room, we have a computer lab mixed with our other area, which is a multi-purpose area that could be either used for photography if somebody was interested in that. They could use this for the recording purposes of newscasting and just help them in general with recordings that they may need help with. Along with this is a wide open area for, say, if the computer lab, if somebody was interested with VR, they could use this room to help with creating an open space to work on a VR project that would make things easier. Finally, we have our computer lab. Our computer lab is an open space for anybody to use. It is available for people to, once again, I'll state, learn programming, coding, web designing. They could do anything that could involve technology and anything technology based. Along with another opportunity is in the main area, we will have cards available for students to take with them that would hold laptops or computers to make learning a little bit easier. It would give them another opportunity to use technology to help advance in their studies and various other topics. That's everything.
I have a question. It looks like you did, I don't know if it's a 1/3, 2/3 split or a half split, but where you had the creative space, it looks like most of the things we've seen today have had some horizontal walls that typify where the bays were, but it looks like you guys have taken a little bit of different approach where you've cut off that back section for creative space, and then you've still got kind of some of the other spaces. Am I seeing that correctly?
Yes.
Interesting. Does your VR space have to have, can it have transparent walls, or does it have to have sheetrock walls?
It can have transparent walls. It doesn't necessarily have to have sheetrock walls. That was just our idea of, it would be a cool idea for, say, for video production purposes, but it doesn't have to be.
Preston, do you have an ability to kind of show the overall configuration of the building? Because it looks like to Mary's point, it looks like there's a lot of classroom type spaces, and I'm just kind of curious to make sure I'm imagining the space correctly.
I don't believe I have one on me right now.
Okay. So I was kind of wondering again about the flexibility, but also, at a place like Ignition Lab, seems like if we're talking about kind of workforce readiness, the more we can create environments that look like the places students are going to be working when they graduate. I think some of the open spaces could be advantageous. So might be some benefit in thinking about ways that those spaces can do more than what some traditional classroom spaces might do at another school. And also maybe how to leverage the overall site. You've got a building with overhead doors that opens onto a yard with a muffler shop, and how could the site be kind of integrated with some of the interior spaces to kind of expand the spaciousness of some of those learning environments. So just kind of thinking about world skills.
Okay.
I liked the kind of like methodical presentation. One thing that I think it's kind of related to what David was saying as well is, we have sort of like a once in a lifetime opportunity to prepare like the Operation Breakthrough community for like the future of work, the future of like automated manufacturing, AI, data science, and things like you did the VR part, but I was hoping that there'd be like a little bit more detail in terms of like laser cutters or automated like CNC machines where students can like design something in the computer in CAD and then print it out or cut it out and then assemble it. It seemed like there were a lot of classroom spaces, which is why I was like hoping that it would be a little bit more more to the production rather than the consumption.
Okay.
Preston, what did you imagine for the outdoor spaces?
We weren't able to get that far. We were mainly focused with the indoor spaces, but the outdoor spaces could be open for various other topics. Like with the robotics crew, they could create their own robots to test outside with the bay doors. For the filming crew, they could take some of their stuff outside to help with that kind of stuff. They could have taken that to one of the other areas to use.
So I was also wondering, why did you guys decide to do a film like media room where they view the film versus like maybe a film production area beyond just like the green screen kind of enclave? Why did you choose one versus the other for the square footage?
I think the main thing was understanding film. They could do film anywhere else. They didn't have to necessarily be confined to one space. So a space where they could examine different films to understand it better. I felt that could be better compared to one space that they were confined to, instead of maybe going off and doing it somewhere else. That could create more of an opportunity for creative thinking.
Any additional questions, judges, thoughts?
I'll share one. One of the things that I appreciated is, we've tried to figure out ways that we can push into our existing building to utilize those spaces as better, so we don't have to duplicate. Your point about production of film, but also the ability to watch film, made me think about how there's some opportunity in our existing space to make that happen. So anyway, that was a thought moment for me.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's cool. And I also want to showcase that you guys did a really good job with the actual 3D model. I don't know if we like really said that out loud, but it was very detailed. So I mean, that's good. Keep it up.
Thank you.
I guess that concludes the presentation portion, and thank you, Team Tiger Tech. That was pretty awesome. I wish we had like a background sound for all the claps and everything that we can include every time the presentation gets done. That would require some high-end production work, I guess, so we can do it. With this, we will keep this meeting running. I'm thinking 1:30 might be too quick to do the judges' deliberation and come back. Let's try to be back by 1:45. This meeting would still be running. Mary, you had a thought over there.
Let's just do a quick check on the judges. You guys have been running your notes through this. Right now it's 1:05. How long do you need to deliberate so that we can give everybody an accurate time?
I'm thinking close to 1:45. That's my guess, but I'll let the judges speak to it too.
I already have my rankings. I don't know how long we'll need to deliberate, but I would imagine no more than 30 minutes.
I was gonna say I wouldn't mind targeting 1:30.
Yeah, I was thinking 1:30 as well. I've submitted all my numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, because you guys have really given us a lot of your time today. So I want to be respectful that we're going over that a little bit. So if we could ask everyone else then to go off of the Zoom so that just the judges are left, and then come back at 1:30, that would be great.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
All right. See you guys at 1:30.
See you at 1:30.
Or we can go into the other room
Yeah, actually, we can just go to the breakout room and do it over there.
Include David and I.
Yes, yes, and Chris. Looks like Chris joined a little late. I'll make sure everybody is in the same room.
I won't judge. I would love to listen.
Sorry, Rohit, I went ahead and stopped the recording. Do we want to stop the live stream as well? And then we can